And suppose, for example, so like see, I'm just taking one example. Suppose I want to store what customers data. Then so customers. Okay. Then next, so how you organize in the form of tables. Tables means what its table contains rows and columns. Next, this is one customer name something. Okay. Then so just see this here, customer ID, customer name, then customer ID, customer name, customer ID, customer name, and customer what address, ID, name, address. Then next, I'm just giving the structure of the table. So customer data inside the database, customer data stored like this. Customer ID is 10. Suppose some name, for example, some name Sachin. What the address Mumbai. Okay. Next, and another customer 2, 11, customer 11 something. Suppose then something. Next, customer 12, customer 12. Next, something. Suppose here what then next one some. Okay, HY like this. So like this is how you store the customer data in database. What this is in the form of what tables. Like what is this table contains, like what is this verticals are called. Okay, what is this verticals are called. So this is one, this is one, this is one. What are these verticals are called? These verticals are called columns. Okay, these verticals are called what? Columns. They're called columns or fields or attributes. Columns or fields or attributes. Okay, so the different terminology used for this, it's up to you. You can call it as column, or you can call it as field, or you can call it as attribute. So this table contains how many fields? 3 fields. One field is customer ID, one field is customer ID, one field is customer name, one field is customer address. So this table contains 3 fields. Okay, 3 columns are 3 fields. And what is this horizontal is called? This horizontals. And these horizontals are called, so you can call them as row, record, tuple. Okay, you can call them as row, record, tuple. So this can be called as a row, this can be called as a record, or this can be called as a tuple. Okay, so these verticals are called columns or fields or attributes, and these horizontals are called row, record, tuples. Then so here see like, so this table contains how many rows? 3 rows. This table contains 3 rows. The first one, this is not row. Don't call this as row. This is not treated as row because this contains field names. So this is not row. This is row. This is one row. This is one row. How many rows are there in this table? 3 rows. How many fields are there in this table? 3 fields. Customer ID, name, address is 1. So 3 fields and 3 rows. Okay. So each row in customer table, each row represents one customer data. Each row represents one customer because each row contains one customer data. His ID, his name, his address. And first row contains first customer data. His ID, his name, address. Second row contains second customer data. So that's why in customer table, each row represents one customer. So that row contains one customer details. Okay, then understood. So like if I ask what is Rohit, like I'll ask what is Rohit. If I ask what is Rohit, your answer should be like this. Rohit is the name of the customer whose customer ID equal to 11. Rohit is name of the customer whose customer ID equal to 11. That means every value in the table referenced with row and column. Okay, now means like suppose if you take matrix now, how the elements are accessed in matrix with respect to row and column. Similarly, in customer table also, so the values are accessed referenced by using this attribute field and row. Okay, na? Then so row and column. Like what is row? It means name of the customer whose customer ID equals to 11. If I ask what is HYD, then your answer should be like this. HYD is the address of the customer. Address of the customer. But which customer means whose customer ID equals to what? 12. This is address, okay? But which customer address is HYD? Whose customer ID equals to what? 12. Okay, na? Then so Rohit is name of the customer whose customer ID equal to 11. HYD is address of the customer whose customer ID equal to 12. So how the values are accessed? Values are accessed with respect to what? Row and column. Then this is what this is. So this is table. So then next, suppose what EF card said. Okay, what EF card said. Then so what is database is? Database is according to EF card. Database is what? Collection of tables. He said database contains tables. What each table contains? Each table contains what? Collection of rows and columns. The table contains rows and columns. What is row? Each row contains what? Each row. Collection of what? Okay, na? You take the row. This is the row. So what this row contains? The row contains values. What is 12? Value for customer ID. What is Vijay? Value for name. What is HYD? Value for address. Each row contains field values. A row is collection of what? Field values. What is field equal to? You take a field. That means column. What is that field? So the list of values assigned to one particular column. What is field contains? List of values assigned to one particular column. So collection of values assigned to one column. That is called field. So database contains table. Table contains rows and columns. A row contains field values. A field contains collection of values assigned to one particular column. That's all. So this is about what the definition. I think you understand about this table. Yes or no? Okay. So in RDBMS, if you want to store the data, then you have to store the data like this. So if you want to store customer data, first create the customer table and store the data. So you want to store students data, then first create one student table and store the data in table. Okay. Then so I'm just discussing about RDBMS concepts. Okay. So I'm just talking about RDBMS concepts. Okay, na? Then so because your course is related to this, so that's why before going to the actual course you need this concept. Then now next next one. So and another one is okay. Then so every table must contain a primary key to uniquely identify records. Okay, every table must contain a primary key to uniquely identify the records. Okay, now so in this so this is the table, and in this table these are the records: record. So 3 records. And how these records are uniquely identified? To uniquely identify these records, record means customer, yes or no? Because each record contains one customer details. So how the customers are uniquely identified? To uniquely identify the customers, you need one, what is that is called primary key. So every table must contain a primary key to uniquely identify the records. Okay, then so then means like suppose for example, I'll take one example. I'm taking one example. Suppose see, for example, every bank stores what? Customers data. Then bank storing the customer data like this: name, address, balance. Bank storing the customer data like this. I'll go to the bank. I'll ask, sir, what is my balance? Then they'll ask, what is your name? Suppose my name is Vijay. Then they go to the customer table, find out the customer with name what Vijay. But they found number of customers with name Vijay. Okay, na? They found number of customers with name what Vijay. Then they'll ask my address. I'll give my address. But again, they found number of customers with same address also. Then what is the problem is? The problem is getting the particular customer balance is what difficult. Accessing a specific customer balance is difficult. Okay, na? Then understood. So then getting the particular customer balance is difficult. That is the reason every bank introduced one. What is that is called account number. Okay, so every bank is introduced one that is called account number. What for this account number? To uniquely identify the customers. Okay, so every bank introduced one account number to uniquely identify the customers. If one account number is given to one customer, the same account number is not given to another customer. Using this account number, we can uniquely identify the customers. And what is this account number is called? This is called primary key. So we can't uniquely identify the customers by using name, because maybe number of customers with same name, and we can't uniquely identify the customers by using address, because number of customers addresses can be same, balances can be same, names can be same, but so one account like account numbers cannot be same. So using account number, we can uniquely identify the customers. What this account number is called? This is called primary key. Next, you take companies. So and every company stores what? Employees data. What data is stored? Names, jobs, salaries, etc. But here, so can we uniquely identify the employees by using this? No, because there may be number of employees with same names, number of employees with same jobs, number of employees with same salaries, but there won't be any two employees. So that's why organizations introduced one. What that is called? Employee ID. By using this CMP ID, so we can uniquely identify the what? Employees. So what is the CMP ID is called? The CMP ID is called primary key, because one ID is given to one employee, the same ID is not given to another employee. So these are what examples for primary keys. So if table is there, compulsory primary key must be there. If you are storing products data in products table, so the product table should contain primary key to access individual product data. So if customer table, if you are storing customer data in customer table, so customer table should contain primary key to access individual customer data. Okay, so every table must contain what? Primary key. Even suppose government, you take Indian government. Okay, so they announce what? Different schemes for the people. So like okay, but what's happened is, so there is a lot of corruption in that. So because the same person is registered 2 times, 3 times to acquire that scheme, he registered number of times. So to avoid this, okay, then corruption. So what government introduced? Aadhaar number. What government is introduced? Aadhaar number. What for Aadhaar number? Aadhaar number is for to uniquely identify the persons in India. If one Aadhaar number is given to one person, the same Aadhaar number is not given to another person. Okay, so using Aadhaar number, so we can uniquely identify the name. So now, so examples for primary keys: what? Account number, MPID, account number, employee ID, Aadhaar number, PAN number. So they are all primary keys. Okay, then so by using this, we can uniquely, banks uses account number, companies uses employee ID, government uses Aadhaar number, income tax department uses PAN number. So these customers, sorry, so this is for uniquely identifying. So there are examples for primary keys. I think you understood the primary key concept. Okay, we are discussing theoretically. So we are discussing RDBMS concept. As a part of RDBMS concept, we are discussing this. Next, one table is related to another table by using foreign key. One table is related to another table using foreign keys. So primary keys for to uniquely identify and foreign keys for to relate one table to another table. One table is related to another table using foreign key. Okay, now then now next. Once again. Now, okay, once again, then. So let's say, suppose here this is customer data. Next one. Then next, suppose here, then what is this foreign keys? Like suppose, for example, next. So you take Flipkart example. I'm taking what Flipkart example. Okay, I'm taking the Flipkart example now. So suppose here, then, for example, I'm taking the Flipkart example. Suppose then, so you go to customers, go to Flipkart, places what orders. This is one table, orders. What this contains? Order ID, order ID, order date, delivery date. Okay, this is one table. So in this table, I'm storing the order details, order ID, order date, delivery date. Order ID is 1000. Order date is suppose something 1st April. Delivery date is 20th April. Next one, order ID is 1001. Order date is 5th April. So delivery date is 25th April. Next one, 1002, 10th April. So this is 30th April, like this. So this table contains what? Orders data. So customers go to Flipkart, customer places orders to buy products. Okay, then. So now this is the table. Next, then. Now, so, but finally, orders should be delivered to the customer. Okay, na? In Flipkart, there is a delivery boy. So the delivery boy will deliver the order to the customer. So you give these tables to the delivery boy and ask him to deliver. Give this orders table, give the customer tables and ask him to deliver the order. But can he deliver the order? No. Because his confusion is this order should be delivered to which customer? And this order should be delivered to which customer? And this order should be delivered to which customer? So that is the confusion for delivery boy. Orders is there, customers is there, but there is no relationship between orders and customer. There is no link between which order should be delivered to which customer. Yes or no? Okay, now? So there is no relationship between orders and customer. How that relationship is established? That relationship is established by using what? Foreign key. So, okay, between the two tables, if you want to establish the relationship, you can establish the relationship by using what? Foreign key. Then, foreign key. What is foreign key? Foreign key is what? Key of foreign. Like instead of saying foreign key, I'll say key of foreign. So actually foreign key, but instead of saying foreign key, we'll say key of foreign. Okay, then what is key means? Key means primary key. So what is key means? Key means primary key. Instead of referring primary key, we can call it as key. Key of what? Key of foreign. Foreign means what? So if you take India, foreign means some other country. Yes or no? So in India, suppose if you take India, then foreign means some other country. But in RDBMS, foreign means what? Some other table. Okay. So what is foreign key means? Foreign key means primary key of what? Some other table. Primary key of some other table. So that is called foreign key. Okay. Now let's see. So suppose here, if you want to establish the relationship between two tables, then take primary key of one table, add that primary key to another table. In customer table, what is customer ID? In customer table, what is the primary key? Customer ID is the primary key. Yes or no? Then do one thing, take that primary key, add it to the orders table. Add this customer ID to the orders table. So enter like this. Enter like this. Now you understood or not? So I'm taking the primary key of customers table, that is customer ID, add this customer ID to the orders table. In customer table, customer ID is primary key. In orders table, customer ID is what? Foreign key. Okay, na? So enter 10. So if you enter 10 means, like what is the meaning? This order should be delivered to customer 10. Okay, na? Now delivery boy. So now you'll understand. This order should be delivered to customer 10. We'll go to the customer table, find out the name and address, and deliver the goods to the customer. Then this should be delivered to 11. This should be delivered to 12. Now you'll not be having any confusion. So now because he knows which order should be delivered to which customer. So this should be delivered to the customer 10. His name and address is there in customer table. Find out the name and address and deliver the order. This should be delivered to 11. This should be delivered to 12. Okay. Then. So what is this is called? What is this is called? This is called what? Okay. Foreign key. In customer table, this customer ID is primary key. In orders table, this customer ID is what? Foreign key. Okay. Then one table it acts as primary key. Another table it acts as foreign key. Foreigner. Foreigner means what? A person belongs to some other country is called foreigner. Foreign key means a key belongs to another table. This customer ID, so let us take this customer ID. This is not actually belongs to this orders table. This belongs to the customer table. So that's why in orders table, this is called foreign key. It is the field belongs to another table. A person belongs to another country's foreigner. A field belongs to another table is called foreign key. Okay, then I think you understood this. Okay, na? Then. So this is an example for foreign key. Understood? So customers table, I'm writing this customer ID, customer name, customer address. So what this is in this table, this is primary key. Then name is what? Something, some name, address is HYD. 11, name is B, address is Mumbai. Some 12, so name is C, address is Delhi. There is one more table, orders table. Order ID, order date, delivery date, order date, delivery date, and customer ID. Customer ID. What is this is foreign key. Order ID is 1000. Order date is what? Something 01st April. This is 20th April. Should be delivered to customer 1001. Next 5th April, 25th April, then 11. 1002, 10th April, 30th April, 12. Okay, now then. Now you understood, I think, primary key and foreign key concept. Yes. Okay. Then RDBMS means nothing, simple tables, rows, columns, primary key, foreign key. RDBMS. Basic concepts of RDBMS is tables and rows and columns, primary key and foreign key. Okay, then next. Just 1 minute. Okay, na? Just 1 minute. Okay, and so like this is the basic RDBMS. Next, and what are the RDBMS softwares? What are the RDBMS softwares? Like see, you can say RDBMS. First, we'll see the features. RDBMS features. Like what are the disadvantages of this? Disadvantages of file management system become the advantages of DBMS. Okay, then storing the data in the form of tables, organizing next form of tables, that is rows and columns. Next, okay, then and every table contains primary key to uniquely identify records. Next, one table related to another table using foreign key. Next, another one in RDBMS, easy to access and manipulate data. Easy to access and manipulate data. Okay, why? Because you don't write programs. In file management system, it is difficult. In files, it is difficult to access and manipulate. Why? Because in file management system, you have to write programs. You have to write the programs. Okay, then so for every small operation, you have to write program. In RDBMS, you don't need to write programs. So in RDBMS, you write queries. Okay, na? So suppose you want to get the customer data staying in HYD city. Simple. Select star from customer where city equal to HYD. Select star from customer where city equal to HYD. So that returns all the customers staying in HYD city. Okay, then now. So then that's what. Yeah, but there in file management system, you should be expert in programming. But when it comes to RDBMS, even if you are not expert in programming, also still you can work with what database. Okay, next then and more security here. Security will be more. So okay, so RDBMS offers security at different levels. Okay, RDBMS offers security at different levels. So more security. Next one, and like more security, less redundancy. Okay, next and also Then supports what? Okay, data integrity. That means data quality. Quality is guaranteed in RDBMS. In RDBMS, so it stores only the valid data. So it says it doesn't store the invalid data. RDBMS stores only the valid data. So data stored in RDBMS is always what? Valid. So supports data integrity and supports data sharing. Next one, supports, okay, transactions, like they are called ACID properties. Okay, na? Supporting transactions means nothing but supporting ACID properties. What is A stands for? Atomicity. What is C stands for? Consistency. What is I stands for? Isolation. What is D stands for? Durability. Okay, but we'll discuss this. This comes later. So there is a topic called database transaction. That time we'll discuss what are this is ACID. So this is not the right time to discuss about this ACID properties. Then you got it or not? Right. So these are the features. Storing the data in the form of tables. So every table contains uniquely. One table is related to another table using foreign key. So easy to access and more security, less redundancy. Supports data integrity means supports data quality. Quality is guaranteed. So multiple users can access the same data at the same time. Supports transactions. Okay, na? Then just 2 minutes. Okay, then 1 second. Just so then. So I think you understood. Huh? You understood this? Any doubts in this? Hmm? Then next, RDBMS softwares. Okay, now then RDBMS softwares. What is this RDBMS softwares? Means suppose here you see that OOPS and Java. What is OOPS? What is Java? OOPS is a concept. Okay, so Java is a language implemented the features of OOPS. Okay, now OOPS is the concept. So Java is a language implemented the features of OOPS. Okay, now theory. OOPS is theory. So Java is practical implementation of OOPS. So this is one language developed on OOPS concept. Similarly, what is RDBMS? Theoretical concept. RDBMS is theoretical concept. Yes or no? Okay. So they developed one theory. Tables should contain data in tables like rows and columns, primary key, foreign key. Like this is theory. Then what are the softwares developed on this RDBMS? Okay. Then one is what? Oracle is one. SQL Server is one. Next, MySQL is one. PostgreSQL is one. PostgreSQL is one. So these are the different. Okay, Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, PostgreSQL. There are number of. I can give the big list. Then, so what is now? What is RDBMS? What is Oracle? Then now, okay, what is RDBMS? What is Oracle? RDBMS is what? A theoretical concept developed by EF Card. Oracle is a practical implementation of RDBMS. Okay, RDBMS is a theory. So Oracle is practical implementation of RDBMS. Okay, na? So Oracle is a software that comes under what category means RDBMS. If I ask what is Java means, you say Java is an object-oriented programming language. Similarly, if I ask what is Oracle means, Oracle is a software belongs to what category means RDBMS category. Yeah. So Oracle is from what? Oracle is from Oracle Corporation. They are from different companies. This is from Microsoft, and MySQL is also from Oracle, but it is open source. But earlier it is Sun Microsystem. Now Sun Microsystem products are merged into Oracle. So that's why products of Sun Microsystem becomes products of Oracle. PostgreSQL is what? This is also open source. So these two are popular open source databases. Open source means you don't need to take what license. You can download, and you can install, you can use. You don't need to take any license. But for Oracle and SQL Server, you have to take license. Okay, now for Oracle and SQL Server, you have to take what license? For MySQL and PostgreSQL, you don't need to take license. You can download, you can install, you can use. So small companies, startup companies, they they don't want advanced features. They want only the basic features. So they use MySQL and PostgreSQL. Okay, because the basic database is enough, and they can't spend money for licenses. So they use this too. But middle range and large scale companies will definitely use what? Oracle, because they need a database with advanced features, like banking industry, they need a database with advanced features, because in banking industry, if you take one particular second, lakhs of transactions takes place in 1 second. So that's why they need a database with advanced features. So they go for these two databases. Okay, then, so small companies will use this too, but medium range and large scale companies will definitely use what? This too. Okay, then, so but one thing is, so if you know one database, you can work with other databases also. Almost all the databases are what? Same. Okay, now maybe one is having advanced features, but basic working with what databases is what? Same. Suppose like actually Java developer, so you're learning Oracle. So in the next Java project, so database is Oracle, because you learn the course from here, so you can work with Oracle. But in the next project, so database is not Oracle, database is what? MySQL. So you can work with MySQL also. Okay, na? You can work with MySQL also. Okay, then, because once you know Oracle, you can work with any database. Okay, then. Now, so I think you understood now. Now. So if you ask what is the features of Oracle means, you can give this list, because you can apply these features to all RDBMS. Okay, you can apply these features to all the RDBMS. You can apply to Oracle, you can apply to SQL Server, you can apply to MySQL, you can apply to PostgreSQL. You can apply this to all the RDBMS softwares. Then next, you also need one more. What is that? Is RDBMS. Okay, then you need two. What are the two you need? RDBMS concepts and RDBMS. You don't need other HDBMS and DBMS, over DBMS. You need these two. So because your course is related to this one. Now, RDBMS. What it stands for? Object Relational Database Management System. Okay, then now you can say it is the combination of what? RDBMS and OOPS. Okay, this is the combination of RDBMS and OOPS. Okay, now I can say RDBMS is equal to what? RDBMS plus OOPS. RDBMS plus OOPS. Okay, then now our RDBMS equal to RDBMS plus OOPS. But what is the to the RDBMS concepts? Some extra concepts are added, and extra concepts are related to what? OOPS. What is the main concept of OOPS? like OOPS concept. But what is the main concept of OOPS? OOPS is used mainly for two reasons. One is a security, another one reusability. Okay, OOPS is mainly used for these two, security and reusability. But we don't need security because database itself offers security features. So we don't need security. So what is taken from OOPS is reusability is taken now. So reusability concept. Okay, then. So what is like what DBMS is? RDBMS plus OOPS. What concept is taken from OOPS? Reusability concept is taken from OOPS. What the difference is? RDBMS doesn't support what reusability, but what DBMS supports what reusability. RDBMS doesn't support reusability, but what DBMS supports what reusability. Okay, so that is the difference between RDBMS and RDBMS. Okay, that. So only reusability concept is added. So we can reuse. What we can reuse means, like, see, just see this, how this reusability concept is added. So what DBMS supports reusability by using, okay, what DBMS supports reusability by using, okay, by using ADT, by using this ADT. What is ADT stands for? Abstract data type. Okay, what DBMS supports reusability by using ADT. With the help of this ADT, what DBMS supports what reusability. But I'll explain what is this ADT is. Let us take first RDBMS example. In RDBMS, I want to store employees data. So then to store employees data, so what data you want to store? I want to store employee IDs, names, jobs, salaries, and I want to store employee address also. So if you want to store address, then you have to take what? House number, street, city, state, like, because I want to store the address in the form of these four values: house number, street, city, state. Next, I want to store customer data. So what do you want to store? Customer ID, customer name. I want to store customer address. For storing the customer address, again you have to take house number, street, city, state. So in number of tables, what is common? Address is common. When address is repeated, what is repeated? All these four fields are repeated. Okay, na? When address is repeated, what is repeated? All these four fields are repeated. So house number, street, city, state are repeated. So here these four fields are repeated here. Here these four fields are repeated here. Okay. Then next, so what DBMS? In what DBMS? So let us take in what DBMS. What we can do? So I am giving the explaining the difference. Okay. So reusability concept. I'm explaining the difference between RDBMS and ODBMS. In ODBMS, what we can do? So create one what ADT, like ADT. Create one ADT. What that ADT is? Address. So this contains how many fields? Four fields: house number, street, city, what? State. So this is, I created one structure. This structure contains four fields: house number, street, city, state. Now let us go to employees table. So I want to store employees data, empid and ename. I want to store address. If you want to store address, you don't need to take these four fields. Simply take one field. What that field is? ADDR. Okay. So no need to take this four fields. Simply take one field, that is ADDR. Because ADDR itself contains what? House number, street, city, state. Just take only ADDR. Next one, customer table. So I want to store customer ID, customer name. I want to store customer address. Then take ADDR. So whenever you want address, simply take what? ADDR. So instead of taking four fields, take one field. So when address is repeated here, how many fields are repeated? Only one field is repeated. Yes or no? So then you created ADDR once, and you can reuse this in number of tables. So wherever you want address, simply take ADDR. You can reuse this in number of tables. What this is called? This is called reusability. Okay. So what this is called? This is called reusability. So created once and reusing this in number of tables, and this is called reusability. And this feature is introduced in what DBMS, creating this ADTs, abstract data types. This feature is introduced in what DBMS. Okay, then so like see, then Oracle what up to Oracle up to 7 version. Oracle up to 7 version, it is RDBMS, and Oracle from 8 version. Oracle from 8 version, it is RDBMS. Okay, so in which version this ADT concept is introduced? It is introduced in what 8 version, version 8. Okay, so version 8 it is introduced you ADT concept. So that's why starting from 8, Oracle is called RDBMS. Before 8 version, Oracle is called RDBMS. Starting from 8 version, Oracle is called RDBMS. That's all. Okay, then. So I think you understood. You understood the difference. Okay, now. So if I ask, like, what is Oracle is now? What is the answer? Your answer should be like this. So Oracle is basically a what RDBMS software, and also supports features of RDBMS, and use it for database what development and administration. It means you can use Oracle for database development and database administration. You can use it for both the development and administration. Okay, then administration means managing. So Oracle is basically RDBMS software and also support the features of RDBMS and use it for database development and administration. That's all. So this is the answer if anyone asks you what is this Oracle software. Okay, then. No. So then so it is clear. These concepts are clear. Any doubts in this? Yeah. Okay. Then now. So next, before going to the actual Oracle, okay, then. So let's in the beginning, like what I said. So you need to know about what is database, that you know. What is DBMS? You know. What are the types of DBM? You know. What is RDBMS? You know. What is ORDBMS? You know. But you don't know ER model and normalization because it is not the right time to discuss ER model and normalization. We'll discuss this later. This comes later. Okay. You know these topics now. Next. Then. So what are the next, you need to know about this one also. Database what? Development life cycle. Okay, we'll complete this. After completing this, then we can start what? Actual Oracle. Okay, before going to the Oracle, you need this also. Like we'll see this one, and after completing this, then we'll start the actual Oracle. So what is the database development life cycle means? What are the different phases involved in developing the database? So you want to develop a database for some company. Okay, now you want to develop a database for some company. So what are the different steps you follow? What are the different phases involved in database development? So like I think already you know this: analysis, design, analysis, design, development, testing, implementation, next maintenance. Okay, so what are the different steps involved? So analysis, design, development, testing, implementation, maintenance. So these are the different steps. Okay, so they are called SDLC. Yes, correct. SDLC, software development life cycle. Okay, na? Software development life cycle. Then, so, but our discussion is about database development. We are not going to discuss about entire software development. We are going to discuss about only database development. Okay, now, then, now, so these steps are not only followed by software industry and also followed by mechanical industry. Car manufacturer also will follow these steps. He'll analyze the market, design the car, develop the car, test the car, release the car into the market. So customers will go to the showrooms and purchase the car, and maintenance will be provided to the customer for 1 year or 6 months or 1 year. A free maintenance is provided to the customer. And it's not only followed by, even it is also followed by civil industry. Okay, construction. So first they analyze, design the building, construct the building, next test, next one, and give the building to the customer. So like if you purchase apartment, that apartment is delivered to the customer, and customer will enter into that flat and use that flat. And suppose for 6 months and 1 year, and maintenance will be given to the customer. Okay, so that construction company will provide the maintenance for 6 months or 1 year. Okay, now so this is not only followed by uh, uh, software industry, it is also followed by mechanical industry and civil industry. Okay, now but our discussion is about what? Database development. So but we'll discuss about what is database design phase, what is the development, what we do in a design phase, what we do in development phase, so what we do in testing phase, what is implementation. So we'll discuss all these phases. Okay, na? We'll discuss in the next class. So once this is completed, then we can start actual Oracle. Okay, na? Maybe this is completed tomorrow, so then immediately we'll start. It takes another suppose 40 minutes, 45 minutes. After completing this, then we can start the actual Oracle. Okay, then this clear now. So we'll continue this tomorrow. Thank you.